Stop there. So, this is more the one I wanted to show off, though. I made this while my internet was down. This thing I am so happy with. Essentially, this is an exploration version of the Salford shuttle as a vehicle. But as you see, it also has atmospheric thrusters, but I'll get to that in a minute. So the thing is I really wanted a vehicle with a ramp. But this thing started off as actually I wanted to make the armored personnel carrier from the movie Aliens. It failed miserably. God, it was terrible. And so I just kept working and wanting to build like a bigger vehicle. And so then I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll just do a hatch on the back, which is, you see here, I got a little hatch in the back. And it works. This one does not use a timer at all. It just, are we moving? I think that was holding it in place. Alright, it stopped. Okay, cool. And it knocked me out. Mother bugger. Still open the door again. So, then I decided I wanted to make something like, again, like the Salford. So I added cargo containers, as you see here. We got one on either side. We got two here. Oxygen generator, so if you're on an alien world, you can get oxygen, but mostly for hydrogen. For no matter what world you're on, you always need hydrogen. So we got a little connector on either side. Plenty of lights. We got a beacon. We have ore detector. We have a antenna back here, a laser antenna, which I was actually quite proud of the aesthetics of that, how it's asymmetrical. And then we got a periscope on the other side, which I'll get to that in a minute as well. So this whole thing runs on one small reactor and the solar panel. The batteries are off unless you turn on its grouping, which include the atmospheric thrusters. The atmospheric thrusters have just enough thrust out of 10 downward thrusters to lift it, to be able to actually fly a bit. And then it has one in each direction, except for back. It has two back here to help accelerate a little bit. It flies terribly, as well it should, because it is a vehicle. I don't want people to constantly just fly everywhere. It's a vehicle that's meant to be economical. So, and it is. The whole bottom is all heavy armor. The rest is light. It's meant to be protective and help hold it down to the ground. So originally I just had a bunch of seats in here, and then I started adding script, so I decided I wanted to add some kind of station. So I have like these little workstations. No real need for them, but I like them. We got little jump seats back here. And now it really kicked me out of the vehicle. Getting tired of that. It wasn't doing this before. But anyway, no matter what seat you're in, you have access to a text panel. So you can watch any kind of stats you decide to put on the text panel. Now this seat up here is, to me, the most important. This is the commander's seat. The idea is, if you are playing multiplayer, you would have a driver, and you would have your crew inside, but you would have an excellent view. So by sitting up here, you can just look around and tell them where to go. You can also go to commander control, this top one right here on the left. Go to control, and if you look at the bar down below, it brings up the controls for the periscope. So for some reason I get low sim speed when I use cameras sometimes. Like in this room, yeah, definitely the case. Wait, look, there I am. Hi. Oh, no, go back. A little further. There we go. Cool. There we go. Very, very simple vehicle, but I think it would be excellent for exploration for people like me that like to... I enjoy going to worlds, even empty worlds, and just driving around. And this thing would be perfect for that. You could have a large transport, lock you up and drop you down onto a planet with supplies in your cargo container. You and a crew could drive around the planet, find what you're looking for, park, and start building a station. Or, whatever the hell you want. But this allows you to also explore. So once you get the supplies out, you build a place, you drive this sucker around. It can go anywhere. So, alright, real quick, drive a seat. There we go. Let's lock it into place. Turn on my dampeners. So, oof. Oh, no you don't. No you don't. No you don't. No you don't. Come on. There you go. So I think I've only got two gyros, but at almost 60,000 kilograms. So as you see, this thing does not fly very well. Bounce a little here. Up. And you only get about 20 minutes of flight time with this thing. It is not meant to fly long or very far, and it shouldn't. So, but the cool thing is, you get going, you can, that's not what I wanted. Just cut your dampeners. Ah, I did not just do that. I'm an idiot. That's my little drone, or not drone, but little decoy. Like a little shooty decoy, and I landed on it. I didn't see it. It doesn't have a name yet, so it's all my small grid stuff. Hidden away. Alright, actually I think it's near here. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so now that I'm done showing that Explorer, which I still haven't given a name, I'm actually thinking about just calling it the Explorer. I'll show you the little decoy. I wanted something near the size of an Engineer, so it's a little big. But I think it's pretty cool. It's what's the word? Like there is no middle block. I don't know what the word for that would be, but yeah, I've never really done that with many ships or things before. But I've seen other things like this, but never quite as small. Some of them will look nicer, but they're really big, and some of them have decoys or other bobs and bits. But again, I like the simplicity of something unpowered. Just put it down, shoot at it, practice your shooting. Easy to repair, easy to rebuild. You can put heavy armor on there if you don't want to rebuild it as much, especially for that chest plate. That's where you're shooting anyway. Put heavy armor, slope blocks on there, and you're fine. So, alright, I am done with this place. Let's go up into orbit, shall we? Alright. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So, this is actually my friend-friendly room, I call it, which normally has no mods, but I have put on a couple. Mostly the skybox is the one I wanted. And I put my shipyard in here with some other stuff. So this kind of become my shipyard. And now that I have a ground base and I can do my nidcast from here, it's going to be kind of my do-all room. So, alright. This ship here, I built because I was watching Star Wars and I wanted a Millennium Falcon. Not just the Millennium Falcon, but I wanted my own Millennium Falcon. I wanted a small cargo ship that was mine. So this will not be posted on the workshop. This is my baby. It's very simple, not much to it. It can land easily on a moon. We've got a couple extra thrusters for it, as you see under there. I tried so goddamn hard to make this be able to land on an Earth-like planet, but it won't. It just, there's no way. I would have to add a large atmosphere thruster to this thing, and there's just nowhere to put it that's aesthetically pleasing. But it runs off of small reactors, and it has a jump drive. Alright. Go in real quick. Okay, so I named this the Kimberly Ann, after my wife, and I called it a skiff, which a skiff is like a very small ship, a very tiny one. Which, I mean, it's not really tiny, but as far as a large ship goes, it is quite small. So I got the 2 seats here. We have 4 passenger seats, gravity. We have 2 cryopods, so technically a crew of 2, but you could have more in here, obviously. Med bay, which is oxygenated. We have 3 internal small cargo containers, so not a lot, and then 1 for each bed. You see on either side here. You can directly access the nuclear reactor here, and there's one over here as well. And that's pretty much it. There's not really a whole lot to the ship, just that. But I love the simplicity about it. So, this is my baby. Oh, it also has, as you see there, an interior turret, one on either side on the top, one on either side under the entrance. And that's it. Oh, I put a light up here that it matches the blue of when this thing's fully charged, so then it looks like it's glowing, and I think that was a nice atmospheric effect about the ship. I liked that. It looked nice. Same thing like with the red light in the bridge area. Makes it easier to see. Alright, so I have 2 more small ships to show real quick. I know this is getting a bit long, I'm sorry. I am a chatty Cathy. So these guys, this is the Knife Fighter and the Berserker. So I'm going to go ahead and cover the Knife Fighter first. I cannot believe I put this thing together. It is a mix of two different fighters. One was my own reimagining of one of Seth's fighters, one of his like super old designs. And I thought it was really neat and looked different. The only aspect I kept from that are like these little winglets. I like the thruster arrangement, like for these wings. Otherwise, it looks nothing like it. The other one was Drunk Spider-Man designed a fighter called the Not a Threat that had pod engines in the front, which mine don't look anything like his, but it's where I got the idea. Which, by the way, his Not a Threat, such a cool ship. And Seth's fighter was as well. The Wildcat, I believe it was, Wildcat. So both of them, amazing designers. Bear with me, I'm going to take a sip of my drink here. It's rather warm in my office, as usual. So this one runs, it's battery powered. And it actually matches some old fighter rules of mine and Dracul's. It has 3 large thrusters in the back and 2 in the front. It has 5 thrusters on either side, and then 4 up, 4 down. Oh, and it has 2 smaller thrusters in the back. So, and it's quite lightweight. So excited about this thing. 22,000 kilograms. On this side, I have Whiplash's, damn it, I can't remember the name of that script. Basically, his Horizon script. So, and then on this side, it's like a ship update, like a status thing. It basically shows the layout of the ship, and it also gives the status of any damage and things like that, and scans the ship, tell you about any damaged blocks. And then lastly, it has the Whiplash's rocket sequence script. Well, weapon sequencer script, yeah. So, and then it has the 4 rocket pods and 4 Gatling guns. So I can go ahead and bam, and bam. I really love this layout. The rockets are a little wide, but while maneuvering and firing and with the weapon sequencer, I think it would be a good asset to the ship. Its acceleration, am I getting low sim speed? I'm getting half sim speed. What the hell? Why am I getting 0.5 sim speed? It's going back up. I don't know why it's doing this to me. No, it's back up to like 70, 80. What is going on? I might just have so much in the room. I might have to go through Space Master. Alright, so just trust me, this thing actually accelerates well. It's not the most accelerating fighter I've ever had, but overall it's actually a really good fighter, and I like the look of it. It's got like a classic, like Star Wars kind of fighter look to it. Not necessarily the coloration, but more the build of it. I had a lot of fun putting this thing together. Man, this is bothering me that my sim speed's so damn low. What the hell's that all about? I don't want to remove anything, to be honest. So anyway, oh, last thing about this is because it's battery powered. Let's see. Let's go ahead and accelerate. As you see, like 20 minutes. It's 22 now. Come on. It's 25 minutes. It's not the best as far as flight time goes, but it's small, it's lightweight. Oh, and that's the other weird thing is the way you would dock it. Once you're docked, you just turn off dampeners. You don't have to worry about burning a hole in anything. But because the nose extends down, it would need its own like special docking area. All right, come on, come on, come on, come on. Shit! What is going? What the hell? Okay, I'm alright. I'm alright. I cannot believe it just did that. Did it really just plow through all that? Alright, let me... I wonder if this is going to help. Can it help with my sim speed? A little bit. You? How about you too? Sim speed's going up. Get out of here, you... Still not perfect. Anyway, that was irritating. The big holes. So, the Berserker. I'm going to try and not crash this one due to poor sim speed. I wanted an attack vehicle. Let me look up the rune real quick. No. Rune. This one. So, a long time ago, Shipyard episode, like, 15, I want to say. I can't believe I actually remember that. I think it's episode 15. I showed this, my rune. Now, this design I actually came up with internally first, before building, like, the aesthetics of the ship. One of my first ships ever to do that. Actually, that's pretty clever setup there. I wanted the rockets set up out here, and I wanted rockets underneath. But overall, I don't like the look of the ship, so I decided to scrap it. God, that's going to bother me, those holes. So, I wanted to do the same thing. I wanted to build a new design that followed the same principles of this. The downward-facing rocket principle, as well as building it internally first. So that's how the Berserker came out, and as you see, it looks similar. It's obviously not the same in any way, but similar. And so I took roughly the same approach. When it comes to a similar problem, you often get a similar solution. And, you know, also same designer, go figure. So there was a lot about it that I had liked, such as large thrusters in all directions. So as you see, I have embedded large thrusters here. I have some decoys, adorable little fins that don't quite match the decoys, but I don't care, I like them. I had a bit of a internal debate with myself on if I should keep those fins, and I like them. So, it's, I want to say 50,000 kilograms? 42,000. So, it's heavy for what a fighter would be, and loaded with missiles, because it does have one internal medium cargo container, so it can carry a decent amount of missiles with it to reload the reloadable rockets underneath. It would, you know, maybe be 50,000 kilograms. And this thing still accelerates and maneuvers relatively well. Not as good as a fighter, but close. It has two gyros. And I like how I embedded these thrusters. Those turned out really well. I'm quite pleased with how that looks. I do have merge blocks, so I can add merge block weaponry, such as, you know, drifting torpedoes, or custom missiles, or custom rocket pods, or whatever the hell I want, which is always nice. Otherwise, the pilot has no weapons. There is a weapon system officer in the back, boop, facing downward, as you see here. So, as you notice, it's a little bendy there because I used curvy blocks that bend around the nose. I wanted something different. Beep, right there. Yeah, I like the look of it, actually. I think it turned out pretty well. They are kind of a nightmare to use, which is why barely anyone actually uses those damn blocks, and nobody knows what they're really capable of. So, but anyway, so the weapon system officer would control the turret most of the time, and then when he is acting as a bombardier, he would turn the turret to auto, and then he controls when to fire the missiles. Now, the reason I set it up this way, and it actually works, is so that the pilot only has to worry about flying. So say you're going against a large target, say a lunar base or a large capital ship. The pilot can focus on keeping his distance from the target, and then the bombardier or the weapon system officer can worry about when firing it. And surprisingly, it works pretty well. And then if you have any merge block weaponry, the pilot can worry about that. Otherwise, he doesn't have to worry about shit. The weapon system officer can also help with navigation if need be. So, multi-crewed ships in Space Engineers right now are kind of iffy, but I think this one is solid. I think this gives you a good reason to have a weapon system officer. Otherwise, you can actually fly this single seat. I've tested it single seat. It flies just fine. I bombed the living hell out of a mining hauler, which those things are armed to the teeth. Now, they're mostly light armor, but they are pretty heavily armed in a small space. And I took some damage from Gatling fire, but the missiles never hit me, and I kept my distance and bombed it with my missiles, and it worked out surprisingly well. Because of it being downward facing, it's not that you're trying to consciously keep a distance, you just kind of keep a distance just because of the way the missiles are positioned. So it works out surprisingly well. So this one I will be posting at some point or another. And that's pretty much what I've been working on. Let's go ahead and bring up the knife fighter again. Makes me sad that it exploded. It's so pretty. Why? Why'd I have to fly into something? Am I still having sim speed issues? I am. It's bouncing all around. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. So as I said, keep an eye out for my own podcast sometime in the near future. Like I said, I'd like to come up with a more clever name for it. Before my internet went down, I had started toying with My Glorious Adventures again. I was waiting until the netcode got better. It's not getting any better, but I have been dying to work on it, so I'm going to see what I can do. And the whole point of the series it was supposed to be immersive role-playing, as well as enjoying the game with friends. Like, I wanted to actually sit there and build with friends, just in a role-playing setting. So not just having to, hey, let's come up with a story for this week and stuff like that. That would be a secondary thought. I still wanted to build and have fun, but as far as the recording part went, it would be in person. It would be role-playing. So I'm hoping to get more of that out soon. That is my greatest desire as of late. It has been on my mind all the time, and I could not work on it at all without internet, because without internet I couldn't use mods at all. That was a nightmare. I don't use mods often, but I do like them, and My Glorious Adventure stuff does. So, alright, I will quit rambling now. This is getting very lengthy, so thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you guys next time.